Hi, I'm Casey Myers. I'm a staff writer for the Cape Cod Times. I've worked for the paper since 1995, and I'm the lead writer on our second series on prescription drugs and heroin. As someone who's covered a lot of different issues on Cape Cod for all these years, related to crime, related to homelessness, related to family problems and other social problems, I think at their core, a lot of them have to do with substance abuse. And now that this issue of heroin and opiate addiction has become such a huge epidemic and people are actually dying and it's really out there, it's really public, I'd like to, in a way, keep it there and talk about several issues that maybe we can find answers to if we look at them. The history here is that I would say starting in the 2004-2005, it began to be noticed as sort of an epidemic, and very early on people were using that word, epidemic. These prescriptions continue to go up despite years of publicity about the misrepresentation of these drugs as non-addictive when clearly they are extremely addictive. We're doing another series. The first one we did in 2010, we got such a huge response. So many people were affected by this disease, this addiction, that we just thought there were so many points we weren't able to cover, and there was so much public interest that we had to go on. The one we wrote in 2010, we talked to parents of addicts, parents who had lost their children to addiction. The crackdown in Florida, where most of the pills on the streets of Cape Cod were coming from, has really had a huge effect on Cape Cod, and the prescription pills on the streets have really dried up. But that leaves a lot of addicts who need something else, and heroin just follows right behind pills, and that's happened nationally as well. Many people in the public don't understand recovery. They say one relapse or 5 relapse means failure, and that's really not necessarily the case. Treatment does work. It's just that it's a little bit different than people might understand. This has been a very challenging beat to cover. It's very fascinating, but very challenging because people don't want to talk about their addiction. There's a tremendous amount of shame and secrecy involved, which has made reporting it really difficult. It's also made it really difficult for the public to understand what's going on unless it's happening in their own family. So I think it's been rewarding and important that I go after it, but extremely challenging as well. After the first series ran, we got a huge response. These are just some of the emails and information that was sent to me. I got tons of letters from people. This one in particular is from a police officer who wrote to me from jail. He had knee surgery, he said, and it got aggravated while I was on the job. I had complications with my knee. This led to more pain medications. My dependency soon followed. I got letters from all the 8th graders at the Forestdale School in Sandwich. These kids really seem to understand it. This one says, I love the articles. A boy in my town OD'd on OxyContin, and the town woke up and saw that there was a huge drug problem. You even had the story of the doctor that got arrested for selling phony prescriptions for OxyContin. The story on farming scares the living hell out of me because both sides of my family have had a history of alcoholism. I remember the day the series in 2010 hit the newsstands, and I went to my local market in Wellfleet, and I was shocked. I mean, there was just people picking it up and walking to the counter and picking it up and walking to the counter, and it was almost like there was a line around the big pile of newspapers. And the person at the checkout counter said, yeah, my brother is an addict. And this is the woman who has been waiting on us for years at our local market. So I think I'm just continually surprised by how prevalent this is. There are some hopeful signs in this battle against prescription drug addiction and heroin. First of all, let me say there are new medications that are coming into play that have been very helpful. And then there's also advances in treatment. Now that it has affected every sector of society, I think that actually, in a strange backwards way, this tragedy will help to bring addiction more into the consciousness of mainstream society and more get in front of legislators and politicians and the people who can make a difference and find an answer.